The United Stellar Federation Academy floated like a silver jewel above the blue planet of Aloria, orbiting silently in the void. Its domed lecture halls, training arenas, and artificial gravity zones held cadets from hundreds of worlds. Alien species of all shapes and sizes moved through the hallways, some with tentacles, some with wings, and some with scales that shimmered like glass. Among them were humans, Earthborn, as they were officially called. In one of the Academy's largest lecture halls, cadets gathered for their daily strategy lesson. The room was massive, stretching like a canyon, with rows of seats rising in tiers. Hollow screens floated mid-air, displaying star maps, combat scenarios, and fleet positions. Cadets whispered, nudged, and sometimes laughed, but a certain tension always lingered. Space combat training was not just about skill, it was about proving one's worth to a universe that had long doubted humanity. A group of young cadets, mostly from the planet Zalara, sat together near the front. Their instructor, Commander Thalix, a tall, blue-scaled Zellan, paced slowly across the floor, claws clicking against the polished metal. "Today we study adaptive tactics in multi-species fleets," Thalix said, his voice deep and resonant. "You will learn to anticipate your allies' movements and counter enemies' strategies in real time. Efficiency and cooperation will save lives, not bravado." As the lecture continued, the Zalaran cadets couldn't help but glance at a nearby training section. There, a small squad of humans moved with quiet precision. Their posture was relaxed, yet every motion was purposeful. They didn't shout, didn't gesture dramatically, didn't try to draw attention. Yet somehow they seemed faster, more coordinated, and perfectly synchronized. One Zalaran cadet, Lero, whispered to his friend, "Why don't Earthborn ever brag? Every other species makes a show of strength. Look at them. They just do everything perfectly and silently." His friend Myra leaned closer. "I noticed that too. When they finished the last simulation, they didn't celebrate or even smile. It's like nothing phases them." Lero frowned. "Shouldn't they be proud of themselves? Don't they want recognition? Aren't they supposed to be strong?" Before Myra could answer, Commander Thalix's eyes flicked toward the humans. He stiffened slightly, though he hid it behind his scales. "Lero, Myra, that question is classified." The cadets blinked. "Classified?" Lero echoed. Thalix gave a sharp nod. From the floor beside him, a hovering AI scanner activated. Its oval frame glowed with a soft blue light, and it rotated slowly, scanning the humans across the hall. When Lero's question was repeated through the hall's communication system, the scanner immediately flashed, "Classified." "Classified?" Myra repeated, her voice rising slightly. "But why?" The instructor's tail flicked impatiently. "Some knowledge is restricted. Some truths cannot be shared even with cadets. You will learn through observation, not through files or holorecords." The humans continued their quiet training, seemingly unaware of the whispers. One of them, a young woman with short dark hair, adjusted her gear and moved toward a simulation pod. Another, a tall man with a calm expression, checked the trajectory of his ship's projected path. Each motion was careful, deliberate, and perfectly timed. Lero couldn't contain his curiosity. He nudged Myra. "We need to know. Just one small clue. Why don't they brag? Why does the scanner mark it classified?" Myra shook her head. "I don't know, but I have a feeling it's not about ego. Humans, they're different." The lecture ended, and cadets streamed into the training corridors. Humans quietly followed, never hurrying, never pushing past others. Their calm composure drew attention. Even the most confident alien cadets slowed slightly, subconsciously respecting the humans' presence. Later that day, the Zalaran group approached one of the humans during a break. The cadet, a young man named Jaren, was adjusting his wrist display, calibrating his suit's energy output. Excuse me, Lero began cautiously. Can I ask you something? Jaren looked up, calm and composed. Of course, what is it? Why don't Earthborn ever brag in combat? Lero asked, trying to sound casual. Jaren smiled faintly. We don't need to. Lero blinked. What do you mean? Jaren leaned back against the wall, his expression thoughtful. Bragging. It doesn't help anyone survive. Winning isn't about showing off. It's about doing what needs to be done and making sure everyone around you lives to fight another day. Myra, who had joined them, nodded slowly. So, it's not that you don't feel proud. You just don't show it? Jaren's smile widened slightly. Pride is silent. Action is loud enough. Lero frowned, trying to understand. But, don't you want recognition? Aren't humans supposed to crave attention? Jaren shook his head. Not when lives are at stake. When you grow up on a planet where the storms can kill you, where predators can appear in seconds, and where resources are scarce, you learn that bragging gets you nowhere. You focus. You survive. You help others survive. That's what matters. Myra exchanged a glance with Lero. That makes sense. I think I understand. Before Lero could ask more, Commander Thalix's voice echoed through the hall. Cadets! All of you! Back to training. Observations are important, but so is practice. The humans returned to their pods, quiet and unassuming. Lero and Myra watched them go, a mix of admiration and confusion in their eyes. There was something different about Earthborn, something that could not be cataloged or scanned. The AI scanners might mark their secrets as classified, but their presence spoke louder than any file could. That evening, as the cadets gathered in the mess hall, the topic of discussion was unanimous. Earthborn. Whispers filled the air. Stories grew more exaggerated with each telling. One cadet claimed a human moved faster than any simulation could measure. Another swore that humans could anticipate enemy attacks before they happened. And yet, no human joined the conversation. They ate quietly, laughed softly among themselves, and shared their observations with calm precision. Their strength wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It was undeniable, patient, and perfectly controlled. Lero leaned back in his chair, sighing. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe one day, we'll understand fully. Myra nodded. Some truths aren't in the archives or on the holo screens. You have to see them for yourself. As night fell over the orbiting academy, lights twinkling like distant stars, the humans trained in the quiet sections of the complex. Their motions were precise, almost meditative, as if they were learning more from the universe itself than from any instructor. Commander Thalix watched from a nearby balcony, arms crossed. Even he, a veteran of countless interstellar battles, couldn't fully explain what made Earthborn so remarkable. The scanners might classify their methods, and the archives might hide their secrets, but one thing was clear. In the unpredictable chaos of combat, humans were something else entirely. And that truth, though classified, would ripple through the cadets' minds for weeks, shaping their thoughts and their understanding of what it truly meant to fight, not for glory, but for survival, honor, and the quiet strength that only humanity seemed to possess. The next morning, the cadets gathered in the sprawling training halls of the United Stellar Federation Academy. Today was different. Today they would test everything they had learned in a full-scale simulation on the asteroid grid known as Oblivion Field. The holographic projection of the asteroid belt glimmered across the hall, stretching as far as the eye could see, dotted with floating rocks, swirling debris, and artificial gravitational anomalies. The instructor's goal was clear. Cadets had to work together in mixed-species teams, navigating the dangerous field while facing simulated enemy fleets controlled by advanced AI. Points would be awarded for speed, precision, teamwork, and strategy. Fail, and the consequences could be catastrophic. Even in a simulation, failure had lasting effects on reputation and ranking. Lero and Myra, still curious about the Earthborn, were teamed with two humans, Jaren and a young woman named Kara. Their other teammates included a small winged alien named Fira and a bulky, four-armed mechanoid called Torque. The AI projection system activated, and the field came alive. Asteroids floated lazily at first, then suddenly shifted, simulating gravitational turbulence. Enemy ships blinked into view, sleek black crafts bristling with weaponry, their AI pilots programmed to be aggressive, unpredictable, and relentless. The cadets' pods hummed, controls lighting up under their hands. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1, engage! The team surged forward. Jaren's voice was calm over the comm system. Lero, Fira, cover the left flank. Torque, push the center. Kara and I will secure the rear approach. Lero glanced at him, surprised. Wait, how do you know that will work? Jaren's expression remained neutral. Observation and instinct. Trust the pattern and anticipate reactions. It's what we do. Within seconds, chaos erupted. Asteroids shifted, enemy ships fired energy pulses, and the trainees had to dodge, counter, and attack, all at once. Lero struggled to keep his pod steady, weaving between rocks and gunfire, while Fira flitted through the air with grace, dodging enemy lasers like a shadow. And the humans. They moved like clockwork. Jaren's commands were never rushed, never panicked. He anticipated enemy movements before the rest of the team could react. Kara adjusted her shields to absorb incoming fire at the exact right moment, protecting both herself and nearby teammates. Lero felt a surge of awe. They're everywhere at once, he whispered to Myra. Myra nodded. It's not everywhere. It's precision. They know where to be before the danger even appears. The team faced a critical challenge, a cluster of massive asteroids blocking their path, with enemy ships circling aggressively. The rest of the cadets hesitated, unsure how to navigate the trap. Focus, Jaren said simply. Follow my lead. In perfect coordination, the humans guided the team. Kara calculated angles for each ship, sending precise movement coordinates. Jaren took the most dangerous path, drawing enemy attention while leaving gaps for teammates to slip through. Fira flew overhead, signaling shifts in enemy positioning, while Torque fired at key targets to create openings. In minutes, what seemed impossible was accomplished. The team emerged unscathed, the enemy AI temporarily neutralized. Wow, Lero breathed. Did we just survive that? Jaren didn't answer. He merely adjusted his pod's controls and continued scanning the field. Kara gave a small nod. We did what needed to be done. The other cadets noticed. Teams led by non-human cadets were often loud, chaotic, and full of dramatic maneuvers. Many tried to show off, making bold but risky attacks that frequently failed. Humans, by contrast, moved quietly, efficiently, and with no wasted energy. Their victories were not flashy, but they were absolute. As the simulation continued, the Earthborn consistently pulled their team out of the toughest situations. When enemy ambushes occurred, they didn't panic or shout. They adapted instantly. When resources were limited, they found creative solutions, sharing energy and shield power precisely when needed. During a lull, Lero turned to Kara. How do you do it? How do you stay so calm when everything is happening at once? Kara smiled faintly. You learn to trust yourself and trust your team. Chaos isn't frightening when you know how to move with it. On Earth, everything could change in a second. You don't panic. You act. Lero frowned. That sounds hard. It is, Jaren added quietly. But it works. The simulation grew harder. Enemy AI fleets started using unpredictable patterns, breaking formations, and targeting the humans' team specifically. Other cadets struggled, their pods damaged, their movements frantic. But the Earthborn never faltered. Jaren calculated trajectories while communicating clearly. Kara balanced shields and attacks, protecting everyone. They used the terrain, asteroids, gravitational pockets, even the debris from destroyed enemy ships, to their advantage. Lero realized something. They're not just reacting, they're thinking 5 moves ahead. Myra nodded slowly. It's like they can see the field differently, not just as a map, but as possibilities. One particularly dangerous wave of enemy ships appeared, encircling the team completely. Most cadets panicked, firing wildly and retreating in fear, but the humans moved with elegance. Jaren guided the team in a spiral maneuver around a massive asteroid. Kara controlled their energy distribution, ensuring shields held while weapons targeted weak points. Within moments, the AI fleet was neutralized. The team emerged unscathed while others had lost points, some even failing to survive the simulation. The lecture hall filled with applause, both from instructors and other cadets. Even Commander Thalix, usually calm and reserved, gave a rare nod of approval. "What? How did they do that?" Lero asked, awe in his voice. "They made it look easy." "That's the point," Myra said quietly. "They make the impossible seem simple. They don't brag. They just do it." Later, in the debriefing room, instructors discussed performance. Holoscreens displayed statistics. Humans had the highest survival rate, the most precise movements, and the best team coordination. The scanners tried to analyze why, but once again, anything specifically related to humans triggered a classified warning. Commander Thalix sighed. "It's not about technology or skill alone. Humans have an edge we cannot quantify. They think differently. They react differently. And they don't need to prove themselves to anyone." Lero, still buzzing with curiosity, asked Jaren one last question before leaving. "Do you ever want to be recognized? To show off when you win?" Jaren shook his head. "The mission is enough. Success is enough. Recognition comes and goes, but results matter forever. That's what we focus on." Myra, looking at the humans as they walked away, whispered, "That's why the scanner marks it classified. You can't measure instinct. You can't scan survival." For the rest of the day, cadets could only talk about the humans' performance. Stories of their calm under fire, their coordination, and their silent leadership spread quickly. Other species began to watch them more closely, taking mental notes, trying to learn from Earthborn examples. Yet despite the admiration, the humans remained quiet. They practiced in the shadows of the academy, honing their skills without drawing attention. To them, winning wasn't about recognition or glory. It was about being ready for real danger and helping others survive it. That evening, Lero sat in the observation deck, staring at the stars. "I still don't understand fully," he said. "But I want to. I want to know how they think, how they stay so calm." Myra smiled softly. "Some things you can't understand fully from the outside. You have to see them in action. You have to live it." Outside, the Academy's lights reflected off the blackness of space. Within the simulation halls, humans continued their quiet practice, moving with precision, efficiency, and an almost eerie calm. And for the first time, Lero realized something important. In a universe full of species that boasted, shouted, and tried to impress, humans' greatest strength was their silence. Their strength wasn't in what anyone could see. It was in what they could do when no one was looking. It was not flashy. It was not loud. But it was unstoppable.